Is your phone on silent? Your phone never rings.
I'm always on silent. As soon as I get a phone, it goes on silent and it stays on silent.
That's why you never answer the phone, and that's why nobody rings you.
People ring me, I just don't answer. Oh, I had to make a phone call today, actually. Shit. Anyway, the only time my phone wasn't on silent was during pregnancy for the last 3 or 4 months. It was perpetually off silent.
Okay, that's fair enough.
To be fair to my wife, is pretty calm, level-headed most of the time.
Cool, calm and collected.
Yeah, so realistically, I got the call during a Facebook live stream.
I was just about to say,
yeah,
we were doing a Facebook members live stream when you got that call.
Yeah, it was...
It's an exciting time.
31st of August, whatever, last year. So we were doing a Facebook live stream, and I got the call, and I was like, oh, I bet this is it. And just very calmly, he was like, oh, the waters are broken. Which she's like, my dad's here, he's just having a chat, but I haven't told him yet, so when you come in, just act normal. So I got into my little GT TDI Golf and was like, boom! And, yeah, trying to get home as fast as possible. And he was still there when I got there, and she just said nothing.
She didn't tell her father at all?
No, she didn't want to hassle. She just wanted to, because he'd be like, flustered,
Absolutely.
Hope she doesn't mind me telling that story.
Also, you have to drive. You don't live next to the office, like you're a half an hour drive away.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Yeah.
Very exciting time. But you are notoriously poor for answering your phone.
It's true. It's been said by family members and other such related people.
Yeah, you are. And everybody who's ever tried to ring me.
Yeah.
You also have a really annoying voicemail to the point. So when your voicemail answers, I'd say you were driving the car when you were setting up your voicemail, and it's just like...
Oh, weird. I've never set up a voicemail.
It's, well, obviously. Now it's to the point where when I hear them, I'm enraged.
Oh, no way.
I have a feeling like you could play that noise to me in my sleep and I'd wake up just fucking raging.
I saw a reel the other day, and do you know the alarm sound?
Oh my God.
He was like, you mind if I play some white noise? Just he turns over to sleep, he puts on the alarm sound, and then just like napping away.
For me, it's my missus' alarm, which is an iPhone alarm, annoys me way more than anything else.
Imagine how much we'd stress people out if we played that alarm sound now.
No, there's absolutely no way we could play it.
I changed years ago.
Okay.
Literally, I'm talking nearly a decade ago. My alarm just my phone vibrates when I set an alarm.
Yeah.
Because the sound stresses you out so much. It's so bad. Like when you hear that sound and you just get this like feeling.
But do you wake up to the vibration?
I turn off my alarm within the first millisecond. I go up and I get out of bed.
My alarm could be an AK-47 firing next to my head.
Yeah. And
like it's touch and go whether I wake up.
Some NATO rounds just going off. And you just
I cannot wake.
Is that the TBIs, you think?
It might be, but I've been like that since I was a child.
Yeah.
Like my mother would get me out of bed and I'd be passed out.
No, when I used to work in pharmaceutical, I was getting up at 5:15, 5:30 some days. Most days, actually, every day I went to work. And like my partner would never wake up. She would never. I just be like, gone straight away. I made sure just the action was the most important thing, and not no time to think. I would actively dissuade myself from thoughts, because I find if I wake up, my thoughts are immediately negative, because they're like, oh, this is like a hassle. So I'm just like, no thinking, no thinky poos. And then I thought listening to metal on the way to work at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's because you're an absolute psychopath. listening death metal is the only thing I can call it in my head, because I want to die when I hear it. And listening to it in any other situation that's not maxing out on some lift or going to war, it's wrong.
I was going to war.
Listening to that. No, you're going to... So your drive used to be like an hour and a half.
An hour, yeah.
An hour.
Less
so you'd listen to it for an hour at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Arrive into your little lab.
Yeah.
Get your newspaper, sit down or read the newspaper on your computer. Like a psychopath.
I didn't have...
There's child soldiers who have less mental damage than you.
I was perfectly okay with all of that. I didn't have breakfast either, so I'd wait till I have breakfast in the canteen.
Oh my God.
Boiled eggs, watery porridge. Sometimes they used to have these scones with chocolate chips in them.
Oh, that's
a little treat or whatever.
That's a lovely touch.
Yeah, at the odd time, maybe like once a month.
Was it kind of a subsidised canteen? Was food cheap?
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever.
Yeah, you'd be like €2 for breakfast kind of thing.
Ah, that's unbelievable.
But they sucked your soul out, so they got it back out of you, you know. You got less money for your lunch, but they took your soul with them.
The only time I wake up is when I'm convinced I'm going to be late, and in which case I wake up every 25 minutes.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, is it time? Is it time? is it time? Like the guy who
Yeah.
trained me in deer shooting, you can't be late.
Can't be late.
Like if it's him, you cannot be late.
For Barfin.
He will just leave.
He'll actually leave.
And the worst thing is if he doesn't leave, because you're going to get a bollocking. Like,
it's better if he leaves.
It's way better if he leaves. So
yeah, you just show up and go off by yourself.
Wake up 25 minutes, every 25 minutes from the time of 12 o'clock, wherever time you go to bed.
Yeah.
On repeat until 4:30 in the morning or whenever you're getting up. And now still, even I could be going out shooting on my own sometimes. But obviously, like, people know you're going out shooting, and then you'd have to tell them that you slept in the next morning, and the utter shame of it isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So now, even sometimes, and the worst thing is, the only time it happens now is when you're really tired going to bed, and you're like, I could miss out in the morning. So now I'm going to get no sleep, and I'll just stay up all night, or else I'll have these fever dreams about being late. Oh, it's horrendous.
I consistently wake up half an hour before we go shooting, because what's funny is though, was we both say we'll be there half an hour before we know we're going to be there.
Yeah.
So if we say I'll meet you there at the dawn at like 5:30, depending what time of year it is.
Yeah.
It's actually 6 that we're meeting.
But that's wrong. Like,
knowing we both going to arrive at 6, maybe 6:10. I stop and get food sometimes.
That's a disgrace.
I know. Yeah.
Like this year.
I know. I'm aware.
This year, Garth arrived, and I was already in a field having spotted some deer.
Yeah.
And I was crawling into a group. This was before our doe season opened.
Yes.
So I need to check there were stags.
This is afternoon time.
So this is like, Garth's like 45 minutes late.
It was loosey-goosey times arranging, to be fair.
It was just, yeah, we were drawing with crayons as to what time we were arriving.
You gave me an hour and a half window of when you might leave.
But I rang you and told you. Anyway.
Yeah.
Garth
obviously, I assumed.
And I'm like, I'm in this field. I need you to drive to the other side of the valley and look into this field and ring me and tell me what's in the bottom corner. And Garth's like, there's nothing in that field. And I was like, I am standing in the field. I know there's something here.
Tell them how far away I was.
I think it's 800 meters.
That's more. That's a mile and a half.
No, because I've ranged it. I've ranged it and put the gun on the bonnet being like, I'm going to take a pop.
Right, I'm off my shoulder through my rifle scope. I didn't even have my binos with me.
So then, eventually, this is all through Facebook Messenger, eventually Garth says, no, there's just a sheepdog lying down in the field. So then I'm puzzled and perplexed as to where the sheepdog is.
Yeah.
Turns out in the end the sheepdog was me.
It was you.
And they were all females.
I was scoping it without, I could see you without the binos. Like, yeah. I could see where you were. And your silhouette, I cannot describe to you. Just looked like a sheepdog looking over its shoulder.
That's because I was down on all fours. Like,
what's so funny about deer is I could see 3, but I knew there was probably at least 6 there, because deer just materialise out of nowhere. But I was like, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, I bet they're all does, because none of them are running or whatever. So this is before you could shoot those this season. But you know, one thing you said there, you know about waking up and stuff.
Yeah.
You remember when you're a teenager and you could sleep for like 15 hours a day?
Can still do that.
I hope when my fella is a teenager, I'm going to try my best not to like wake him.
You'll definitely wake him.
I know.
It's just built into parents that they're like, what's he doing?
1 o'clock in the day.
Never woke me unless we had something to do, in which case my father could draw me out of bed at any time. Like, we're going fishing in the morning, so you're getting up at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, besides that, they just left me sleep in unless I was supposed to be going doing something.
I got up out of guilt though, because I was like, there's surely something to do.
I remember like staying over in like friends' houses and stuff. Do you know when you'd be doing sleepovers and being woken up at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning? What in the name of God? Being woken up at 9 to have breakfast, to then be asked what you're doing. What's your plan? So go back to bed for another 5 hours.
I'm always up early, so anytime we're doing anything in our friend group, I'm always the first to wake. And I'm always just,
and you're septic, and you're the worst person to be waking up early. Pottering around the place. I've been to the shop 5 times. Different shop? No, same shop. I went there 5 times and came back again. I hate it, because I'm like, when the fuck is everyone else going to get up? Everybody else, most of the time as well, we've been drinking the night before and you haven't, and you're like,
even if I've been drinking, I'll be awake.
It's just mental. Stay in bed. Like.
No, I know I'm wrong, because I never meet anyone else who gets up in all my years. I just never. It's so rare that I encounter.
You and Teddy are the only people who get up early when you've been out. And Teddy has the God's honest decency to fuck off and go surfing.
Teddy doesn't want to talk to anyone when he gets up though.
No.
Whereas I'm ready for action. Like, I'm ready for like.
So this actually brings up a great story.
What?
Around 3 or 4 years ago, around the time of the COVID lockdowns ending and some freedom coming back in, me and Teddy and a few others were in Kerry, and we were somebody's birthday, big night out, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning job. Teddy obviously went to bed at 11 o'clock, so Teddy is a good friend of ours. Teddy went to bed at 11 o'clock because he was going surfing the next morning, or paddleboard surfing or something like that. At 11 o'clock when Teddy was going to bed, I was 6 hours into drinking maybe, and I said, definitely wake me up in the morning because I definitely want to go surfing with you. You arrived, you saw the aftermath of this. So Teddy goes to bed at 11. Daire goes to bed at around 4 or 5 in the morning. Nobody's quite sure when. 2 hours later, Teddy's banging on my door being like, come on, Fitz, come on, get up. I was in that butter zone of not hungover yet, but definitely still pissed. So I just got up and got into Teddy's van, put my shorts on. We drove for 45 minutes out to the sea. Teddy gave me a paddleboard. I paddled down the river, could barely stand up in a paddleboard. But you're in like this fight or flight thing where you're like, I'm going to stay up. Fell off the board in the river so many times.
The river's so dangerous for
So dangerous. So rocky.
Yeah.
So then arrived at the bottom of the river, out into the sea, got through the breakers because I was like, I'm just going to get through the breakers. It'll be all good. You're kind of sobering up, but you're too pissed to even realise that you shouldn't be on a board. And then I sat down on the board once I got past the breakers and just started vomiting continuously for 20 minutes.
Oh, no way.
And like over my pants, over my board.
Yeah.
Everything just destroyed.
Did you have a wetsuit on?
No, I barely had clothes on.
Oh my God.
So the funny thing of this story, we were leaving the car park up by the river. There was an old guy there in a motorised wheelchair. And he said, you're tough old boys this morning, in like this Kerry accent. So we were, fine day for the whatever, went off. He obviously saw me puking out on the sea. I managed to get in through the breakers after maybe 20 minutes or so out there. And I'd pick up the board, walk like 10 or 15 metres, get sick. Pick up the board, walk 10 or 15 metres, get sick. Because I'd also swallowed a load of seawater. This goes on for around half an hour before I get back to the car. Same guy is there in the motorised wheelchair, pissing himself laughing. And he was like, "This is a tough old day out there." But yeah, then I just fell asleep in the van.
I didn't realise you actually went up with him. I thought you didn't go.
No, so we went back to the house then, and maybe it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning at this point.
Yeah.
We get back. I actually had a Zoom meeting I think might have been for my old job in the van.
Was that long ago?
It was a Zoom meeting for something weird that I didn't really need to be at, but I agreed to be at. Maybe it was with lads I used to work. I can't remember what it was. So I got back, went back to bed. Then ye arrived down with the dogs and everything, and I just didn't surface. Like, you arrived to my house and I just did not get up.
No.
I think you called up to me in bed.
I don't think you could get up.
I was in a very bad way.
Yeah, very poor.
Yeah, feeling very poorly.
Remember after my brother's stag, we went on the second day, we went surfing. I don't know why the second day was surfing, but in Westport, on the west of Ireland, and very nice weather for it. But we were staying in, I think there was like 15 of us maybe staying in a bungalow, and the situation around the bungalow was really weird. So we were like out and about or whatever. There was a small like granny flat next to the bungalow. Like, I'm talking like the size of the studio here, like a really small granny flat. Yeah. But the lights are on at night when we got there and stuff, but we thought there was no one there and we didn't see anyone, so we're like, fine. Went out the first night, got a taxi back, and I don't know how this was organised. I don't know who organised the house for us, and I must actually find out, but the taxi driver was like, "Oh, we're staying in this house, you might know where it is." And they're like, "Oh, show me where it is." And he was like, "Oh, I know exactly where that house is." And
oh God,
he was like, "There's no fear you'll be any trouble in that house." And we were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then we were at the shop nearby or something. Someone else said the same thing. It was unbelievable. It was like in the cove. The field was right next to the inlet. Like, you knew there was like a little path down to a beach or whatever, a very little beach there. And someone else, the woman at the shop, was like, "You're staying at that house?" And we were like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with the house?" Basically, it turned out it seemed to be something to do with some IRA members or something, or formerly owned by someone who was in the IRA. And then next night, we're all out obviously, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, everyone's outside smoking and talking and whatever, and this fella is just outside smoking as well, and we were like, who the fuck is
in
that?
the little studio?
Yeah, he's outside, but it's in a really isolated house, you know. So we're like, hello. Obviously we didn't own the house, so we're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
totally fine with the whole situation or whatever. It was just like see you later, lads, and went back into the little granny flat. No idea who he was. Definitely on the run or something. It was so weird. And anyway, we were surfing that day as well. And obviously it was the second day. And after, we had like 3 hours booked. You actually don't appreciate how much work surfing is.
Here, 3 hours is exceptionally long.
After half an hour, someone was brave enough just to come back out and just flapped down on the beach.
Yeah.
And then everyone else was like given permission to come out, you know.
Oh, once the first person breaks,
yeah,
the floodgates open. Like,
we were like, oh, that must have been like 2 hours. And they're like, no, that was 30 minutes. And we were just like, we need to stop now. Just let us go.
You're always so tired after it as well. At least if you're surfing most of the time, you have a wetsuit. But like just being in the water makes you so tired.
Yeah, we had, I think we had wetsuits. Yeah, I think it was wetsuit. The ones that let in water, the wetsuit, isn't it? Do you have a wetsuit?
Yeah.
Some form of the devilment?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of wetsuits. Wetsuits are things you kind of acquire randomly. Mm-hmm. Do you know when people know you're into outdoorsy things and they're like, sun has gone away somewhere, like, you'd love that wetsuit now.
Yeah.
So I just have loads of them at home. Same thing with life jackets.
Can't say I have either of those, to be honest.
Acquire wetsuits and life jackets a lot. A weird thing that happens as well is obviously a lot of people who are into fishing are older. And a lot of people leave their fishing gear behind when they pass on.
Right.
Sorry, everyone leaves it behind when they pass on. You can't take it with you.
Well, if you ask ancient Egyptians or any other multiple cultures, they think you could.
In that case, bury me with my rifle.
Terracotta rifle.
But we have a load of people's fishing gear and no idea who they are.
No way.
Because it'll be like a family friend knows somebody and there'll just be a cabinet full of fishing gear in the shed somewhere and they'll be like, oh, the Fitzgeralds love fishing.
And they'll just give it to you. Mm-hmm. Is that like a thing?
No, I don't think it is, but we have multiple different people's fishing gear. And it's mad because you'll try on like a pair of waders or open up a tackle box. You're like, I don't remember these flies.
Yeah.
But they'll be somebody else's.
We've been watching a lot of Outdoor Boys recently.
Yeah.
He's largely doing a lot of solo stuff where I kind of picked up. I don't know how I found him, but I introduced him at the lunchtime watching here in the office and been binge watching him a lot. Yeah. What a guy. Alaska. Oh my God. Some of the things in Alaska just look unbelievable.
You know, the thing is as well, that we don't, so we have massive access to like great beaches, great countryside here, lovely wildland, but the scale isn't there.
The scale is not there, yeah.
And it's not public. Mm-hmm. Like you can't walk down the beach in Ireland with a shotgun, yet he can just kayak to some random beach in Alaska and be walking along with a shotgun under his arm.
Yeah, he's a little remnanting sponsorship, but he's 22 and he's just going to shoot some fucking
grouse,
yeah. Or what else is he shooting? A few ducks sometimes if he gets a chance, or wood pigeons.
Yeah,
you can walk down a beach in Ireland with a shotgun, but it would be heavily frowned upon.
You can do it, but you will be arrested.
He's so good. He goes out into the wilderness. If you haven't seen him in Alaska, primarily because he lives in Alaska, and obviously there is enormous amounts of wild country there. I think Canada's the least densely populated country in the world, and I think Alaska is similar to that, but because the United States is skewed, you know.
Yeah.
But he just goes out into the world, gets dropped off on the plane, gets boated out somewhere into this amazing countryside, and he'll bring a load of equipment. He goes over the top on the equipment. Yeah. He'll bring like a portable stove.
It's to the point where sometimes I'm like, this has to be fake. It's like Barney's magic bag where he keeps pulling stuff out of it.
So normally it's hard to get your mind around this a bit if you watch hunting stuff normally or camping stuff, because if you watch lads who go hunting for a week, they'll have like the bare minimum amount of food, the bare minimum amount of equipment. Their guns will be heavily taken care of or whatever. Their dry gear and wet gear will be bougie as fuck, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But everything else is like toothpaste. Is like to the milligram. If they bring toothpaste, they'll cut their toothbrush in a third.
Yeah.
They'll only bring like energy bars and protein bars, the lightest minimalist stuff they can do to get away with it, in the hopes that they'll be as efficient as possible with the whole thing. And that's pretty much what everyone does. But when you're watching Outdoor Boys, Luke is his name. He's actually a Mormon attorney, district attorney I think was his title.
Or is it criminal defense attorney?
Maybe that's it, yes. So he brings literally portable stoves. He brings
bags of flour.
He brings pig cheeks primarily, pork belly. He'll make like empanadas and tortilla wraps for his pork belly that he cuts. He'll have a portable stove.
Lads,
he'll bring a skillet.
It's so worth going and watching it purely to see the meals he makes himself.
All on a GoPro.
Yeah.
Audio is really good, actually. And I don't see
very good.
He doesn't seem to have a mic or a lanyard set up.
No.
So he just brings a GoPro, load of batteries, and then he'll pick a situation that he is going to survive in or do stuff in. He'll put in like 5 days in the Alaskan wilderness, and he'll show like how to make a gravel setup where he'll have these little foldable bushmen, cut up all the logs, make a lean-to, put a tarp over it, and just show you these random situations, and it is so entertaining.
It's so good.
He's like a couple of million subscribers.
Yeah.
And he just, editing is on point. He's adorable.
Incredibly good pacing as well.
Yes.
It's never to the point. A lot of the like solo camping videos and stuff are super, not slow, but they're monotonous watching, you know. Like someone will have 4 times more wood cutting time lapse than they need to have in.
Yeah.
Luke seems to be on the ball with that timing.
So on sometimes 20 minutes of his video go by and you're like, oh shit, the whole video's over.
Yeah.
But you know what makes him, I figured out what makes him really entertaining.
What is it?
So he has the bare minimum of like good editing, right?
Yeah.
And good quality videos. But he is a master of his craft. He is incredibly competent.
Yeah.
Everything he does is so reassuringly good that you're really enamored by it. And you're just like, at no point in your mind are you watching a fucking Squat University video and you're like, oh yeah, that's bullshit. I never watch Outdoor Boy stuff and go, that's a dumb idea. I'm like, oh
no,
that looks delicious.
I will say he'll pick up a gun one-handed, hold the GoPro in the other and just take pop shots.
But he's in the Alaskan wilderness and he's got probably 50 to 100 rounds in him, like 122 or 17 or something, super light. And he's just, because he knows
away.
He's got his honey butter bag.
I know, yeah.
So he does this thing very frequently, which I love. He makes steamed pot bread and he mixes in a jar butter and honey. He heats it up and then he pours it over the fresh bread.
It's so hard. It's so hard explaining this when you know someone hasn't seen it.
He's the Sam Sulek of outdoor stuff. He's the Sam Sulek of outdoor stuff.
That's exactly what it is.
Holy shit, that's what he is.
Yeah.
I get Sam Sulek now. I get it. I just realised I got it.
I get it 100%.
Yeah, I just realised I got it now.
Oh my God. That makes so much sense. That's why we love watching it, and that's why they love watching Sam Sulek.
Oh my God. That's such a... I genuinely... This is not set up. That actually makes so much sense.
No, that actually makes... Now that you say it, that makes so much sense.
It's only him in the videos. Well, mostly. He talks about food and eating.
The solo camping videos are the best.
Yeah.
He has a lot of like ones where he brings his kids out and stuff.
I don't love those as much.
No.
I'm sure it's a great time for them, but he's the focus. He talks about food and comforts, which we can all appreciate. Like if you're camping for 5 days in the freezing Alaskan wilderness, if you're making like lamb tahini, you're just like, oh, that would be delicious.
I was at home the other day and I was eating lasagna with homemade garlic bread and wedges. I was like, are not wedges, like chips in the air fryer. It's like great meal, right? And I was watching this video and I was like, oh, what he's eating looks so good. And
it does.
I'm literally sitting here, heating's on, everything is perfect, and still I'm looking at a man making something in a water bottle, and it still looks great. What
I love as well is that, you know, when they'll say, if you're watching Meat Eater, for example, and they'll go out camping, or who's the Australian guy or the New Zealand guy I was watching recently? I'm kind of new to that guy.
Oh, J.R. Wilderness or J.R. Hunts or J.E. Hunts.
The food they eat looks shit.
Yeah, it's all the freeze-dried stuff.
It's like stuff marathon runners would eat while they're running. But
yeah,
Luke eats stuff where you're like, man, that'd be so good.
I will say though.
Yes. I won't hear any blasphemy of Luke, so be careful.
No, there's no blasphemy of Luke here. But you can unclench your fist. So I've done a load of camping, load of hiking, loads of eating, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And when you've like your big bag of food, that is so much weight.
Oh yeah.
Like even with the like foil bags of like, you know, the pre-made pasta where you just pour the water in, that's so light. But you put 3 or 4 of those in your bag, it gets really heavy. You put 4 litres of water in, that's 4 kilos straight away. Your bag of trail mix, so heavy. Like everything weighs so much. And yet Luke is bringing in so much food.
But he literally brings a portable stove.
Yeah.
Forget about your food and your pig cheeks and your back fat. He's bringing a portable stove.
A leg of lamb in. and cooked a leg of lamb in foil over the embers of a fire.
But I get why he does it. Because one, it's obviously, it's a video. So it's like, when you're doing a podcast, it's not a real conversation. It's clearly an interview. Yeah. He knows he's making videos. But he has a very well-built career, I imagine. He's a family and a home and plenty of comforts of life, you know. And so when he's going out there, he's going out there as the thing he enjoys doing. And so if it's possible for him to make it as nice as feasible, but with still the limiting factor that you're camping in the Alaskan wilderness, it makes sense. It's just weird.
So having watched, to be honest, a shameful amount of Outdoor Boys YouTube for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like every minute that I'm not working or sleeping, it's playing on my phone.
Yeah.
Even walking the dog, I'll have headphones on. I now want to go camping so bad, and the camping time in Ireland is over. Like,
it's over.
Like it's so inconvenient and uncomfortable to camp in Ireland when it's not the 4 months that we have good weather. Mm-hmm. But my dilemma now is, obviously if you go and do that, I'm going to bring a shotgun or a rifle. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure what the laws in Ireland are about having a shotgun or a rifle overnight in a tent.
I don't think you can have one. I think it has to be stayed in a safe place overnight or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to have them not at your home safe or whatever.
Yeah, but it has to be. So
could you have it in the car?
Probably get away with it dismantled with a trigger lock on it for the shotgun.
Yes.
But I'm not sure about for the rifle. I really need to ring the Garda station and ask them.
What's the story is.
Yeah. Because I'd love to do one of the islands in West Cork. Like get dropped off by a boat or kayak out there. Do like 2 days fishing, hunt a few rabbits or a few ducks.
On the islands?
Yeah.
Will you just get myxomatosis or Lyme disease again?
But I already have Lyme disease. Humans can't get Maxi.
You can get Lyme disease again. There's so many variations. You will keep getting it. You as an individual, not as used pejorative. You as an individual will get Lyme disease if you go onto the Ireland Islands.
Speaking of me and my failing health, my leg still hasn't closed.
Well, it's only been a week and a half.
Yeah.
And very poor blood flow there. You know, you're like
very poor. That's the problem. Yeah.
It looks pretty good though. It looks healthy.
It looks non-infected yet.
Yes.
I'm really missing jiu-jitsu.
You can't go to jiu-jitsu.
I know.
You have an inch long and half an inch wide open wound in your leg.
Yeah.
You cannot go to the thing that has given you red velvet disorder and multiple other infectious diseases.
Yeah. I'm literally the staff king. Like,
it's my fault. I figured out why all this is happening.
Go on.
Remember I said to you, fuck, you've been really lucky about not getting injuries from jiu-jitsu. And you haven't gotten injuries.
Yeah.
You've just gotten death-eating immune disorders.
5 times in a year, yeah.
That was my fault.
That's all your fault.
So sorry.
I also remember having a conversation the week we were moving into the office.
Yes.
And you saying, you never get sick. And I was like, no.
No. You said you never get sick. And I said, no, one time you had black lung.
Yeah.
And you were in college.
Yeah. And so besides black lung from probably smoking 85 cigarettes in a night.
So it's 50-50. You did say, I never get sick.
Yeah.
And of course.
Look how the tables have turned.
Well, the turntables have turned around.
Maybe this is what your 30s is like.
You are always going to get sick when you say, I never get sick. You can't say those words out loud and then expect not to get absolutely ravaged by multiple things.
I'll never get rich.
No, it only works for bad things.
Waiting.
Yeah, it's no. You were. I'll take some blame because I did say you'll never get injured.
Yeah, it's your fault. Yeah,
but I did tear your hamstring then. So I mean,
you did tear my hamstring. Yeah,
but again, that was half your fault.
No, do you know what? It is my fault because I was wrestling with somebody who was 3 weight class above me. Like I just shouldn't have been there. You know, jiu-jitsu is about picking your training partners, making sure you don't go with anyone 5 weight class above you.
Actually. It's, you know what?
And you know what as well?
It's only 1 weight class because the unlimited is heavy. It's unlimited, so there's no limit to how much more.
Like 40 kilos is too much of a difference in weight, and technically you were still an adult competitor and I was a Masters 1 competitor, so I should have been nowhere near it.
Is there rumours that you're going to do the squat and run again? Is that rumours? Is there rumour to that happening?
Yeah.
Is there...
Yeah.
So initially this is how how I knew it would go, but I didn't say anything, but I was like... Obviously, after it happened, you were like...
Do you know what? You seem to have a lot of fucking influence on me and my long-term decisions.
Outdoor boys. But you were like, oh, I'm never going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it again. And I was like, give him sick. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Let him cook, boys.
6 months, I was like, give him, and I'll start, give him back in his brain. And you were enjoying your jiu-jitsu or whatever. And I knew you just couldn't leave it go. Because you wouldn't leave anything else go. So I was like, you can't leave this go.
Because you're pedantic and annoying about everything else.
So you did it twice. So I was like, there's no way he's going to leave it after it twice. Maybe if you did it once and never did it again, I was like, that's possible.
Yeah.
But after failing it twice.
You know what the thing is as well is like, the shape you're in when you do that is so fucking good for everything. Obviously, the crazy training loads and like, for your health, it's absolutely terrible. But the shape you're in when you finish training for that is so good. You're so fit, you feel strong, you're athletic enough, you know. That's a great, if you could be that shape all the time, great.
You know what's hilarious is that if you had just stayed in shape after the first one, you would have done the second one, so you would have done it better than anyone who's done it, which the two people who've done it. If you stayed in shape.
Yeah, but I'd have broken leg, Garth.
If you did an off season instead of a no season,
but I'd have broken leg.
You could have still done loads of stuff.
I could have, yeah.
You could have fixed your back. You could have fixed your back. You could have kept your conditioning specific to running higher.
Yeah.
Your general aerobic capacity.
No, you're right.
But you know what's funny is that me trying to squat 300 kilos, I've started this training block. Never since I've touched a barbell have I been so out of shape for weightlifting and squatting, which is hilarious that I give out to you.
You were so far from...
I failed a 220 squat at the start of this block, like 200 kilos, and you know I was squatting once a month. It's so funny how the what a fickle web we weave when we first learn to deceive, you know.
What a fickle web we weave when we're condescending to people on the internet.
Hey, you're not on the internet. You're right here in front of me. So you went, like you cooked for a while, and I was like, it's going to start happening.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought I was like, maybe not this year. And you don't want to do it during the winter, which is kind of fair. But you need to start a much longer training block.
I think I am just going to start once this clears up now, because I definitely can't run with my shin being split open.
No way.
It's actually the only thing that really hurts it. It's not sore most of the time, but what really hurts it is running.
Yeah, you need to start training now for it, but you don't have to. Your problem was you tried to do 10 months of training in 3 months. And you got really close. You did 9 months of training in 3 months.
You just needed that extra 4 weeks.
No, you needed 10 months, not the extra 4 weeks. If you had the extra, if you had the time, you know, you'd...
Absolutely.
The thing is, you're really capable of doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't...
Just need to go and do it.
You can't force an extra 10% onto a taper.
No.
You know?
No, you really can't. You can't elongate a taper either.
No.
Like, the taper is the taper no matter what.
But I was in, you couldn't add extra performance. Like, you hadn't like, your taper was fine, but you hadn't realized, you realized what you had, you know, and it wasn't enough, you know, on the run.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, you have to
go and do it all over again.
It's just like failing a snatch a few times.
It's grand. It's grand, though, because it's not like it's a really painful training block.
Well, I bet if you taper into it more appropriately, like if you're coaching someone.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people can do it, you know? Because
apparently, only 2 people have done it.
So there was 3 originally.
And the third guy has now all his videos taken down. So somebody was talking to somebody we know. Mm-hmm. Somebody we know very well was talking to one of the 2 people who have done it.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, the third guy was a fake. And then we went and looked. I was like, there's no way he was fake. He used to be messaging me on Instagram saying, good luck. All this, all the advice you could ever want.
I remember the fakey guy, yeah.
And then fakey guy's gone.
Yeah, he faked it. Apparently, was it... He sped up the mile or something, was it?
Or it wasn't on the same day, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, apparently it's gone now. You can't find him. Do you remember his name? Don't say it. But do you remember his name?
I remember his first name.
Okay. So...
Can't find it anywhere. And there's no internet lore out there. Some people definitely know in the comments of this video.
Is it mad how the hybrid athlete thing is getting so big?
Yeah.
What's funny is when I started gym training like 16 years ago, there was like being generally fit for life was huge in like an underground section.
Yeah.
But no one really wanted to be super strong or knew how to be super strong, but everyone wanted to be kind of fit for life.
Yeah.
And there was like this anti-aesthetics kind of vibe to that crowd.
It was heavy. Yeah.
It was like, I don't care what I look like or whatever, you know, basically you did. And then it was like CrossFit kind of came along and it was almost right. And then it was like, okay, whatever sports and general fitness and whatever you've gone through. But now it's like, no, I do want to be strong. Yeah. I do want to look good. But I also want to be pretty fit and athletic.
Yeah.
Which is why I wrote the horse program.
Absolutely.
On the Seek Strength app. But it's funny now that this is like, no, I do want to look good, but I also want to be strong and fit. Now, this is an extreme example of that.
Yeah. I think it is a bit of this swinging pendulum, of like people discover training, then they go way to one side. So you come in here with like no major commitment to anything, then you swing way to the other side where you're super committed to powerlifting, weightlifting, whatever it is. Then you swing back a small bit towards the center, and I think people just always come back towards something that's a bit more sustainable, something where you're a bit more healthy, because it just fucking hurts. It hurts to be 120 kilos trying to squat something massive. Like, it hurts to be competing over and over and over again in weightlifting and be in shit shape. Like, people want something that's works for a long time, makes you look like you train 5 times a week, and gets you the kind of performance outcomes, whether that's in weightlifting or powerlifting or whatever.
The thing with the 5-minute mile and the 500-pound squat, which we didn't say what you were doing, is that both of them are actually something most people who train, run, or squat will never do. But because there's so many great people optically who can do both of those things, even though it's a tiny percentage of the population, you'd actually kind of be belied with how impressive it is to do it, given the fact that we've only seen 2 people do it. Because if it wasn't, anyone who runs and squats will know that it's crazy. Like, it's really fucking tough. Yeah. But if you just looked at it, you'd be like, oh, loads of people can run a 5-minute mile. Loads of people who we see online can squat 227 kind of kilos or whatever. But if it was the case, some people would have just gone and done it now.
Yeah.
You'd be like, like the time I did a zombie front squat with 220.
Yeah.
That was literally the first time I ever did those with anything meaningful. And I zombie front squat at 220. If it was the equivalent case, if you're just trained enough, you would do it. But it's actually really fucking difficult.
I think I'd say around 20 people have said it to me that they're going training for it. Loads of people, massive followings online. Loads of people, if you're listening to this podcast, you know well. I'm going training for this now, and then you might see them even writing about it on Instagram. Not a single person has done it.
Yeah. You included.
Me included. There's a fucking reason.
It's tough.
It's so tough.
But you've ran a 5-minute, you've had them before, haven't you?
Loads, yeah. And I've squatted it 5 times now. But like 5 different training cycles up to that. But it's just difficult. It's hard to do it at the same time.
I can see that. Did you break your leg the last time or the first time? I can't remember.
First time, I think. Remember last time I detached a tendon on the bottom and my foot turned black?
Oh, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, if you tapered into it, your tissue would have been ready.
Absolutely.
Or if you just trained properly for it. Yeah. Like, longer time frame.
Not like an idiot.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to getting back into it. I also think I want to be 90 kilos now. So squat's been so easy every single time. Like, I was like 96 kilos. I was 98 kilos the first time, I think. I think I was 96 kilos the second time. I think I'll just aim to be 90. Do all of it at 90. If I 90. Need to gain weight in the last 6 weeks, then I'll just gain weight in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, 90 is low. What do you know?
98.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
98. Drinking pints, eating kebabs.
It's all gone soon.
It's all gone soon.
Once that heals up.
Once this bad boy goes away. The other thing as well is Christmas is always a disaster socially. So there'll be no heavy training till after Christmas.
Historically, for me, training at Christmas was my best time because it was
really,
I was off from work or college or whatever.
Since the day I stopped playing rugby, training for me around Christmas, or drinking and social events around Christmas have been hectic.
Yeah, you have a large family who get together a lot.
Always, yeah. And a few different family groups as well. And then a few different friend groups.
Have you consider just not drinking that much at them or not drinking at all?
Not until you've said it, no.
Maybe it's a thought process.
Maybe it is, but probably not, if we're being realistic with each other.
Yeah.
I enjoy it too. Like, there's something lovely about meeting up with a group of lads that you haven't seen. You might only see them 3 or 4 times a year.
Do you want to be the third person to do something that no one else has done, or do you want to go drinking?
Well, is it a one or the other thing?
Yeah.
August is a long way from Christmas, like.
Yeah, but 10 months of training is 10 months of training that needs to get done.
You're dead right. Maybe it's a little bit of resistance training, like training under constraint while hungover.
Momentum loss is very hard to get back in a big training block.
That's the thing. If this was like Christmas was happening in the middle of the training block, then there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, it just wouldn't work. Which is why, thus forth, it is planned as such. Also, I've never been aerobically in better shape.
Yeah, but
which is weird.
Running is just different to everything.
Yeah.
Running is just its own little thing.
Running is, it's a whole thing. Because it's not even, so whatever about the engine, it's like the running gear is the problem, like the suspension, the legs, the ankles,
the mentality,
the feet, the mentality. Yeah, I enjoy it. It'll be good.
Okay.
So stand by. We'll probably start training vlogs December, January.
Yeah, we've some plans for training.
Yeah.
Once I
some exciting times.
Do the thing.
You need to get a GoPro as well.
Yeah, 2 GoPros.
If somebody knows of good GoPro or GoPro advice, let us know.
Yeah.
Because there's like a Google one or something that's like basically a gimbal on the camera.
A GIMP.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That looks sick.
Do you see that fella that was arrested? He's like the GIMP of Liverpool or the GIMP of Norfolk or something.
What?
He was dressed up as a GIMP. He got it done for it in the UK. He was just like crawling along the street in a GIMP outfit, like scaring women.
You cannot be doing that.
Well, he didn't. He got caught. He got.
See, there's a guy in the States.
But why were you doing it though?
Yeah.
Well, I told you don't.
Why was I doing it?
I saw you buying the GIMP outfit.
I didn't think that my criminal record had been released.
But recently, like, is that where you went for a few days?
That's where I was. Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you saying the States? You did it in the States too.
So there's a guy in the States running around with a scream mask and a fake knife. And he pulled a knife on someone. I think it was last year at Halloween. Pulled a knife on someone, and someone just took a handgun out of their belt and shot him. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
If ever there was a cautionary tale.
Do you know what? That's a universal thing. Very few people will be like, no, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Everyone will be like,
what were you doing?
Everyone will be like, oh, that's, you went parachuting without a parachute.
Yeah.
Why did you think that would be a good idea?
Yeah.
That's it.
You were tempting gravity.
Most people, it's a very few thing in this day and age where most people will agree on something.
Yeah.
And something like that where someone gets shot for doing that. You're like, oh, that's obviously
what are you doing?
No one wants that person to die, but no one is like, that's, you know, when someone gets murdered in a robbery or something, you're like, that's super tragic, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But when that person dies, you're like,
oh, why were you doing that?
Of course that was bound to happen. Remember, people are dressing up as clowns.
Oh no. There was a guy doing that in Cork.
No way.
Very near where we are. And you know when you're like 18, 19, 20, you just drive around the place in evenings. Like with the lads or whatever, you just drive around. There's one down near, so Curvinny Pier is a place near where I'm from. And you drive down there and you just hang out on the pier, or else you go for a swim or something. There's a guy doing the clown thing down there.
No way.
But waiting until it was dark. And there might be like girls sitting in the car chatting or whatever and come up with the clown mask on outside the car.
No way.
Oh my God. That's when you put the car into first gear and just
drive away.
Drive away over them.
But you're asking to get battered there.
Yeah.
Like that's, what do you expect?
Yeah.
There's a few of them where people start chasing the person in the clown. They think they've like picked the right victims.
Yes.
And then people are just start running after them.
Oh my God. I'd love to see that happening.
Yeah, there's a few videos actually if you want to look at them. They're
Is
funny.
there?
Yeah, there's
where they chase the clown down.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's so funny.
You deserve it, like.
Yeah.
But isn't it weird?
Speaking of which, we were at the traffic lights today and junkies started fighting behind us.
Oh, no way.
One fellow was roaring at the other. Yeah. Do you know when I ran across the road and you didn't run? And then the traffic lights outside our office, there's 4 junkies.
Mm-hmm.
And one fellow was shouting at the other fellow, you owe me 50 quid. And he started like grabbing him and stuff.
No way.
Yeah.
People are going to, some people would get mad at you in Ireland for calling them junkies, but we've seen
they were definitely.
We've literally seen these people do heroin on the streets.
Yeah.
So I think, like, I don't know what else would make you a junkie, you know?
Yeah.
Watching them fight is it's so entertaining.
It's like it's in slow motion.
We can often...
Do you know when somebody's talking through like a judo throw and they're like... Yeah,
and they're like
But in this case, like, oh, me 50 quid.
Yes. Oh, I remember actually when we were going to the public office to register for marriage... walk past
when we were the two of us
when my partner was, and there was like 2 or 3 of them arguing over money, and one of them like threw a $5 at him, and the other fellow went to pick it up, and then asked just as I was walking past, the undeniable sound of fist hitting meat happened. Knocked him clean down. Fuck, I was like, oh, that's terrible.
It's fivers and lighters. They seem to always be fighting over it.
I hate when girls start fighting though. It's so vicious. They're always just grab the hair and start just...
I wonder, is that a thing of like social, like you're so used to watching lads fight. I wonder, is it just because it's jarring when you see two girls fighting?
Yeah.
I wonder, is it like a social thing where you just haven't ever seen it, and so it's so shocking when you see it? I don't know.
Tell me if I can tell the story, but I'll say it first, and you say if it's too much. But years ago, I remember we were younger at the back of a pub, and a girl hit a fella in the face with her shoe. I don't know the backstory now. I can't remember what happened. Bust his lip open.
Oh God!
A lot of us were there, obviously, and everyone was like, "Oh, obviously you can't hit her back."
Yeah.
So he licked the blood off his face and spat it into her face.
Oh my God!
It was an unbelievable comeback. It was. I don't know if he I don't know if he deserved it, but it was like, it was a powerful.
Jesus Christ, Griff! That's a fucking.
It's a gesture.
That's a statement.
Yeah. So she hit him with the heel of her shoe, like right in
the heel,
the lip. Yeah, and he just.
That's a toothbuster.
And
Jesus Christ!
I don't know who was wrong.
Christ.
I can't remember who was
They're
wrong.
They're both wrong.
But everyone was like, "That was a good comeback."
Was this up near your home place?
Yeah. Yeah, we went to secondary school or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I wish I could remember the story. So I
will say you're from a wild area. Like.
No.
Like, there's people come down out of the mountains, like.
Well, I do
that person mightn't have been domesticated yet.
Well, some of the best shooting we go is on those mountains.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great, but there is some wild people, like.
I still remember to this day, and it's probably 14 years ago now.
Yeah.
I don't know who was right or wrong. He didn't hit her, and it would have been wrong if he hit her for sure. Whatever happened, everyone would agree.
I still think everybody's wrong. It was the wrong action and the wrong reaction.
But
both of those people are wronger.
You can't expect a modern.
I'm not going to impart my morals onto you.
You can't expect.
Because obviously there's a bit of mountain in you as well. Like
Marcus Aurelius style stoicism, just to walk away from that. Like,
is that what Marcus would have said?
He would have left, I'd imagine. Or maybe he would have never get in that situation in the first place.
Okay.
But there was 20 of us there, or whatever, 10 of us at the back of a pub. You've got to maintain some kind of semblance of...
Did you know the guy?
I knew everyone, of course, yeah. I didn't know the story. It was just great entertainment.
Do you know what they were fighting over now?
I wish I could know. And I'd never know now. It's too long ago.
That was definitely like him liking some girl's Facebook status.
Yeah, Facebook would have barely been even...
Yeah.
Facebook, actually probably prime Facebook days, to be honest.
Oh my God, that's mad. Right, I must go to the quaff.
On that bombshell.